Duncan, this is my deal, because in all honesty, man, you're a sharp guy. I've always thought that, and I'm not just saying that because it's your birthday. But you've been in the guts of these numbers from the beginning. When this was first brought up, you were budget chair, and I know you've been in the guts of it a lot, more than me, whatever. Simple yes or no, because you gotta go. Would you say that as of right now, going into 2017, is this private option Medicaid expansion program on pace with what the expectations were when it was implemented? Is it where it was forecasted to be? And that's coming from former budget chair, current budget director for DLA.
So there's really no yes or no answer to that, just because there are so many different components to that question, and I think there were so many different expectations about the program, and so I don't know that I can really answer that with a yes or no. And but I mean, to me, the big picture in all of this is that, the Stephen Group, when they showed the growth projections for traditional Medicaid, their lowest number was 5%, their highest number was 10%. And I think, what I took away from that was they were saying that without reform, without change, you're going to grow at 5% or faster. That's $75 million or more in general revenue on an annual basis. And so when I look at these numbers, I just think that, that we've calculated savings into the budget number. We've got to take action to realize those savings, but also on a long-term basis, as you suggest, we need to put additional reforms in place in the traditional program in order to bend that cost curve.
But, I mean, that's where we disagree, and that's why we're going to continue. We're in financial trouble, worse than some people want to acknowledge, and we're headed for worse deals, is we were going to spend 10%, but now we're only spending 5%. It's not a savings. We're still spending record amounts of money, and I'll be more than happy to get you the original things, and that when we can continue to have that mentality. And if we don't change something at DFA, at DHS, I don't see anything that's doing anything to reduce cost. Is we have to do things of what some of us mentioned before, is you have to have target spending in certain agencies. And if they're not hitting those targets that our state can afford, the problem is that DHS is, every facet of DHS is growing uncontrollably. And this reform thing is nothing more than a talking point, because it's just going to continue to drive us financially into a worse situation, because it is the main driver that we're growing state government more than our Arkansas real GDP growth.
Well, it's only a talking point if it's not followed up by action. And, I think in putting those numbers in the budget, we assume that action will be taken. And so I think that's the important component, not only on Medicaid, but on any of these other programs, that we have policies in place that drive spending, and action has to be taken in order to change those numbers. And to me, that's the big takeaway with traditional Medicaid, which is that large number. When we look at this general revenue sheet, those are traditional Medicaid numbers, and without reform, then there's really no change there.
Well, I've been down here. We've talked about reform every single year in DHS, and they spend record amounts of money and sign up record amount of people, to the point that, we're so underwater now that there's going to have to be substantial policy. Anyway, that's all the questions I have for you, Mr. Berry. But I just want to say this again. Same thing that happened under forestry, same thing after this. There has to be checks and balances that has to control these agencies and allow them only to spend at certain levels, because the rest of the state government is already suffering because of what's happening at DHS. And we're going to continue to suffer, and God forbid something happen on the world stage that causes a wrinkle in our economy, or we're due for a recession. So, and then as we go into a recession, what happens to Medicaid numbers? Unfortunately, they go up at a time that you can't afford it. So it's just a very, very dangerous time that we see that. I've heard this thing about saving money. It's almost like I'm a Chiefs fan, and every time at the opening kickoff, being a Chiefs fan, after the opening kickoff, we go wait till next year. So it's the same way with DHS and Medicaid. There has to be major constraining and spending. Anyway, that's all.